All right, we're gonna do a little speed tie of the Walt's worm. I've got my hook oriented like this in my vise because I like to turn the point towards me so I can feed the bead on by looking down the bead hole right onto the hook point. And then once I've got it on the bend, just feed it around and I'm ready to start. This is a size 14 jig hook and a 7/64 gold bead. So I will show you something. 7/64 is not the same manufacturer. I don't know if you can see the difference. These are both labeled 7/64. So you kind of have to eyeball it sometimes. It's the same size hook, just different makers of beads. Anyway, I've got some Danville 6.0. I believe this is olive. I'm going to start my thread right behind the bead. And I'm going to kind of use my finger and thumb tips to help me jam a bunch of thread wraps right up against that bead, because I don't want it to jiggle around on me. There we go. I've built up a little thread dam behind the bead, and that should keep it from moving. Put a few wraps over that so it's not going anywhere. I'm going to take my thread back towards just shy of the bend of the hook. I'm going to take dubbing wax. I'm going to put just a very thin amount on. You do not want globs of this stuff. Wax should be just barely above the end of the tube, and often I just get it with the very edge. And I'm going to take some hare's mask dubbing. I'm just going to dub it on, spinning in this direction so it cords with my thread. Can't do too long of a noodle because I got this camera in the way. I think we can get it about here. One quick and easy way to improve your dubbing technique is use smaller pinches of dubbing. If your dubbing falls to the table, you're using too much at a time. A pinch of dubbing should, let's see, float down. That might even be too much. I might use a little less of that at a time. Just take little tiny pinches. That's going to help you build tight, even noodles that taper. It's a good way to avoid, if you've ever had a noodle that doesn't really wrap around your thread but then just kind of runs next to your thread, like this kinda. Using smaller pinches is the best way to avoid that. I'm just going to even this out a little bit. I'm lifting it up so I can avoid the hook point, and I'm getting that noodle closer to the end of the hook. Okay. Now, try not to bump the camera. With my first wraps, I'm coming all the way back to the bend of the hook. And I'm just going to start building a taper forward. I'm shooting for kind of a carrot-like shape, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It is hare's mask. It's going to pick out and get buggy. And I can fit a little bit more. Some people don't even dub with wax for most things. Hare's mask dubs so easily you almost don't even need it. This is just bare thread. But can give you a little extra grip. There we go. I've got kind of a carroty shape to that. And the way I like to finish off, my nymphs especially, So I put just a very thin amount of head cement on the thread. You barely want it to bead up at all. Like so. You can just kind of barely see it glistening on there. I don't want large droplets. And then when I whip finish, I've already cemented my head. I can just draw that tight. Those wraps kind of sink into the behind the W, and we're done. That's the Walt's worm. Very easy to tie. Just a spiky, picky little bug. I don't think there's any need to pick it out any further. The trout teeth will do that. But just a generic, often used as an anchor fly, as a kind of a sinker with a hook, but it catches a lot of trout. I think it's a decent imitation of maybe a scud, or a cased caddis, or a caddis pupa, or could even be might be taken as a crest bug or a sow bug, that is. Guys, some people tie these all the way up to like a size 8. And that could be like a good crane fly imitation, or stoneflies. Young stoneflies molt several times a year, and when they do, they're kind of a light, creamy, yellowish color, which hare's mask ain't bad with a gold bead. Catches fish.